Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Happy Thursday. These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I've picked up from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. Today's Red Mic message: act like you belong, fake it till you make it, all those sort of things. When I was in college, I worked at a Computerland franchise and didn't work there long. They ended up dissolving the position, and but I learned a lot there. One of the things I learned is, well, I learned it while I was, making deliveries. I was pushing a dolly. I had, you know, a logo on a shirt. um, I remember pulling up to offices and labs and industrial businesses and even our local Air Force base. And I had a van with the company name on the side. I had a clipboard. I had a dolly. And sometimes I wore a tie. Sometimes I had a name tag. Sometimes I had a logo on my golf shirt. And it got me in the door. You show up, you act like you belong, you tell them you got a delivery, you tell them where it's going, and yeah, you still had to sign in and stuff, particularly at buildings that had security. But I was amazed how often just showing up and looking like you belonged got you in the door. They wouldn't even call ahead to see, to confirm with anybody in the room, and where you said you were delivering it, that you actually had to be there. Now, of course, that was before 9/11. Physical security is a lot tighter now, and nobody's strolling onto an Air Force base these days without credentials and clearance and all of that. But I think the principle still applies in the workplace. Confidence is going to open doors. If you're standing on the sideline of your career and you're waiting for permission, waiting for the coach to say, hey, get in the game, waiting for someone else to say you're ready, waiting for someone to say, yeah, you can do this, you shouldn't. Because the people who get noticed, the people who earn the bigger roles, the bigger responsibilities, the bigger wins, they're not waiting in line. They're stepping up. They're stepping forward. They're being bold. This is probably a negative connotation, a negative example, but George Costanza in Seinfeld. It's not a lie if you believe it. Okay. you know, um, Raise your hand before you check all the boxes. Speak up in rooms where maybe other people are not saying anything. Move with confidence, not arrogance. Move with confidence, even if you're still figuring it out. Um, if you ever saw the movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio, he played a character based on the real life Frank Abagnale, who reportedly pulled off some pretty wild cons. He posed as a pilot, a doctor, a lawyer, and he didn't have formal training in any of it. Now, after the fact, a lot of people have come forward and said, yeah, Abagnale is full of hooey and he didn't do all of that stuff. But regardless of whether he did or didn't, he still built a really large company based on, hey, I can find frauds. I can find fake checks. I can tell you where the weaknesses in your security system are. So whether he knew how to do all that or figured out how to do that or not, it got him in the room. It got him noticed. So make people believe it. Stand tall. Act like you belong. Speak with authority. You're going to find doors open. Don't wait for somebody to hand you that badge and say, you are now allowed to lead now. It's your time. Don't wait for an invitation to grow. Don't don't wait at all. Walk in like you belong. Walk in like you own the joint. I mean, do you think Howard Schultz from Starbucks really knew how to run a coffee company? No, he's admitted that he was faking it early. Same thing with Richard Branson with Virgin Airlines. You know, he was wet behind the ears. You know, he didn't know how to run an airline really. You know, back to that old Dr. Phil, fake it till you make it. They did. They're both billionaires. Act like you belong in the room. Confidence is not arrogance, it's courage in action, in motion. It's the difference between watching the parade go by and being Ferris Bueller, jumping up on top of that float, grabbing that microphone and singing Dankeschön or Twist and Shout and becoming the head of the parade. So go out there and do it. Don't ask permission. Get in the game. That's today's Red Mike message. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you find it helpful. Give me a like, follow, and a share. It's really easy, particularly on Facebook. Just double click. You see a video, click it twice. That little heart or that little thumbs up will hit. That's all I'm asking. Give me this. What do you say? Give me one of these. A like, a follow, and a share. That's all I'm asking for. I'll see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, best day of the week. Tomorrow's Friday. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.